This isn't just Friday night under the lights. It's every morning, every rep, every ounce of sweat that built this team. We don't play for stats. We don't play for hype. We play for the man beside us, for the name on our chest, for the tradition we carry every time we step on this field. Behind us, a school, a city, a family. In front of us, 100 yards of purpose. Tonight, we don't just show up. We take over. No fear, no doubt, just fire in our hearts and purple in our blood. We are Calvary, and this is our time.
Welcome into the Calvary Coaches Show live from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street. The head coach of the Calvary Day Cavalier football team, Jason Cameron. I am Jeffrey Roberts. It's through 7 weeks of the high school football season. The Cavaliers sit at 4-1 overall, 3-1 in region play, with 5 games under their belt at the exact midway point of the season for the Cavs coach. Let's just get right into it. A bye week. How did you see your guys really take that loss and take it in stride?
Oh, great response. You know, we talk often about responses over reactions. You know, we explain, reactions are not thought out, responses are. And they came ready to practice, which was great. Thursday's practices were probably one of the better practices we've had all season. We had a JV game, and away at Benedictine. So it was mostly about, 20, 25 varsity guys left. So we got after it for 2 hours straight. A lot of good on good stuff, a lot of like back to basics, indie stuff that you do during camp stuff. And it was awesome. So I think it was a great bye week. We flipped gears and this week really focused on Long County and paid attention to those little details that we're going to need to stop them and execute on offense. So all in all, it was a great week. It's almost like this team doesn't know any better than just to come in, work hard, get the job done, and have fun while they're doing it.
I think some head coaches have different philosophies of what the bye week can mean. And of course, that there are so many different areas at play. Are you coming off a loss? Are you coming off a win? When is that bye week? For you in your career, when did you realize the importance of a bye week, health-wise and maybe that mental side of things?
Well, that's the thing. You got to kind of know your team too. A bye week coming off of a win is a little different. I don't know if we would have beat Jenkins if we would have had as good as a bye week. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I'd want the win over a good bye week. But what I'm saying is you got to kind of know your team. You got to know your health. Is it, hey, should we scale back some? So we focused more on, we still practiced every day that we normally practice. We just scaled back maybe 3-4 periods. So instead of going that 2 hours, we went about an hour and a half, and we were more focused on, quality over quantity.
And you say that the talent on this team, while you have talent, there are still some growing pains with a relatively young roster. That hard work, the quality of it, why does your roster make that possible?
Oh, it's because I love how deep we are in the sense, and how hungry, when you play multiple guys, and again, we have everyone in the country right now. High school football is dealing with some injuries or some bumps and bruises. So having empowering kids, and they know that they're one call away from being a varsity player. Man, it makes your practices just so much better because they got to be ready when their number's called. Or honestly, we're just going to go to the next guy. It's nothing personal. We expect everybody to execute, and when their number's called, they got to be ready.
You always have a guy or two or a unit of practice players who on the off week. Did you really see
Raheem
shine?
Williams was really good. He's gonna be a really good player. He's an old school football player, loves physicality. He's our scout inside linebacker, rolls over and is our scout fullback or any sort of blocking back, rugged runner type guy. That's always the role that he assumes, and he's just done a really good job. He's shined the brightest in the hallways, man. At first he came, and you're kind of unsure, like, oh, this is gonna be a good fit for him. And the way that he's conformed, teachers love him, his classmates love him, and he's playing great football.
Yeah, well, now it's game week against Long County on Friday at 7:30 p.m. kickoff from the Specialty Sports Complex. Long County, they hang their hat on the run game. They have 3 players who average 65 or more rush yards a game. 5 players average 40 or more rush yards. That's something that's circled. When you see the blue tie on the schedule, that's what the scout comes from.
Oh, definitely, and it's just straight assignment football. We have focus. You could almost practice without a ball because every single guy just has a specific assignment on every single play. So for me, and what makes matters worse, they're probably been playing without their best back. I believe he's a back-to-back first-team all-region kid, which I believe probably coming off a bye week. I'm sure he'll be back. Not sure or not, but we're preparing that he will be there. So again, a team that can spread the ball around like that and just really, gives you problems, man. It's just, our defense has had, it's been a heck of a time preparing just for the amount of different offenses we have faced. You know what I'm saying? You're going from, wing tee to spread to, oceanside sling it, and now you're power tee, double tight, rugged running team. So our defensive staff has worked their butt off. And one thing that I love, I told our guys this today, I got it from Derek Jeter. I said, you have no nerves when you're prepared. And I feel like our defensive staff has done a great job of preparing our kids. We've executed it. So, we should go in there, no worries, going to make plays, not worrying about making mistakes.
Against two opponents this season, against Jenkins, over 300 yards rushing the defense allowed, then against SEB, over 220 yards. But on the other side of that, a Windsor Forest team, you stopped the run, negative 57 they had. On the defensive line specifically, a guy like Jay Varner, a Buddy Curry, assignment football for them, who they really can fly around and make big plays. What does that look like for guys where that really in any spot they're in, they can find success?
It goes back to our culture. It goes back to not to 1/11th of the job. When you think about football and you should make it really, really small, there's 11 guys out there, and if you do 1/11th of what needs to get done, the job will get done. And so as long as, Jay Varner might not make a tackle all night, but if he's freeing up linebackers and not letting those guards get to them, man, he makes every play. Might not go in the stat book. And our guys are pretty bought into that. You know what I'm saying? That, and I want them to go make plays and this and that. But understanding you just do what you're coached to do. Jeffrey McCormick said this to one of our deans after his Windsor Forest. And the guy asked him, what was your success? He said, honestly, kind of just did what I was coached to do. And it's just a great answer. No one coached him to say that. He said it to a guy that wasn't even at the game. So if they do what they're coached to do, and they do it really, really hard, and we line up correctly, I think we'll like what the scoreboard says.
And to have one name on the coaching staff that jumps out being Donald Chumley, the way when you kind of have to lean on him a little bit more in your defensive staff for a game like this, how do those guys shine and rise up to it?
Yeah, it goes back, Coach Myros is our defense coordinator, but games like this, you know what I'm saying? Coach Myros kind of steps back some, and, this is just Coach Chumley's forte. He's just so good at it. And then Coach Myros adds his kind of wrinkle to it behind him. So, it's a great twosome. They work so well together. I said that when Coach was on the show. There's no egos in our coach's office. There's zero egos, which is awesome. Every single guy comes to a Sunday meeting with ideas. Some are taken, some aren't, and no one gets their feelings hurt. And like I said, preparing for a team like this, like having someone like a Donald Chumley on your staff is pretty cool.
Well, then also for a high school football season, the time between the last home game and this Friday, that's a long period of time. Just the juice to know that the place that you're practicing every evening and in the mornings on Wednesdays. What does that do to the team this week?
It's awesome. If you haven't been to a Calvary home game, I suggest you get there because the atmosphere is phenomenal. It doesn't matter who we play, and I expect that it's gonna be no different Friday. I sound like a broken record, man. I've been at Calvary plenty of times as a spectator, scouting, and I was always envious, man. It's just an amazing place. Our administration makes it that way. You go to our playground and you can leave your kid there because they got people watching the playground. They want it to be a family atmosphere. They want it to be a safe atmosphere, and it's Friday nights in Savannah. You should come to Calvary and watch a game.
The atmosphere adds to it, but the Cavaliers at 4-1 and the Blue Tide at 4-1, it makes for a great game on paper. We'll see how Friday night plays out, but the Calvary Coaches Show on this Wednesday, October the 1st, is just kicking off. Carson Dean, the center on the offensive line for the Cavaliers, he's our player guest next on the Calvary Coaches Show. Welcome back inside the Calvary Coaches Show, live from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street. Our next guest, a senior offensive lineman, Carson Dean. Carson, earlier this morning we were talking, you said, as center on the offensive line, you feel like that's like the quarterback of the offensive line. I absolutely love that. I want to first talk about that side of things, the offensive line, the grittiness. What do you love about being on the offensive line and playing that position?
I mean, you just know every play goes through you, especially runs and pass. You got to be there to protect the quarterback, of course, but like on the runs, you have to have a certain nastiness to gain those yards, and I feel like that's what we bring.
You certainly have to have some physical traits to be an offense and defensive lineman, but as you get older and in the game of football, we'll get back to a little about your background in the sport, but the excitement level of that's where you get to play every day. Why does that excite you?
I mean, like I said, you just get to be nasty, and then you seeing all your running backs, James, Zay, get all the praise, all the touchdowns. It just makes you happy, man. You get to celebrate with them.
How about you, Coach? I mean, he's someone that truly leads that unit, and you said he rolls up the jersey, shows off the belly. That's the kind of personality you want.
That's it. He's just an old school offensive lineman, man. He just, belly's out, shirts up, and he's just ready to go to work. Carson, very similar to Scotty Walker, just stayed the course. Remember last year, I'm sure he remembers, we were hard on Carson, man, early, hard, and struggled. The best part of him, man, he just stayed the course, just stayed with it. Like, guys could quit, guys could leave, guys could go to the next place. He just stayed with it and just continued to grind. This guy takes hard coaching really well, and what you don't understand is there's a lot of times in practice where he's serving on the scout team. It's just a selfless guy. Just comes and just wants to make sure his teammates get better. You look up and you're like, golly, man, Carson really hasn't come out of practice today yet. So we got to keep him healthy. He's, you talk about James and you talk about all these athletes around him. Most important guy on the field, he touches the ball on every single play. And if that snap's not right, we're not right. So, I'm just blessed to have him because 90% of the time it's right.
And as a center, that's a position you had to kind of fall into since becoming a Cavalier. Talk about the transition. You said you played some guard, you played some tackle, but center was new to you. How was that presented to you and the kind of work that you had to put in to now be the starting center on the varsity team?
My junior year, my sophomore year, I had came from BC my freshman year, so I had to wait a year, play JV, and I played everywhere, a little bit of guard, a little bit of tackle, but never really center. And played it my whole life growing up, but I mean, being the O-line, you got to play everywhere. So, and then it was SEB junior year. Jay got hurt. He was our starting center. They called my name. Just had to be ready for it.
Mm-hmm. And now you're in year 2 with the same quarterback. That center and quarterback relationship is a very important one. Talk about the relationship you have with James, and that's something as you've grown together as young men. What does that relationship mean to you in that position?
Oh, it's everything, man. We go back to middle school together. I played O-line for him in middle school. He was my quarterback. And it's just he's always been the same kid, smile every time you see him, hug every time in the hallway. Like, what's up? How's it going? Just great kid.
Yeah, Coach Cameron, a lot of these kids have played together for years. Getting to this level, you hope to foster and continue those relationships. How does their background make it a little bit easier on you guys? Yeah,
a lot of these guys have known each other for a long time, so you have chemistry already. You know what I'm saying? Like he just said, they played middle school football together, and now they're back at it as a junior and a senior in high school. So, chemistry is so important with team. That's why that's all we focus on in the offseason. As chemistry goes along with that culture thing. So when you have guys that have already kind of have a little bit of piece of that already, it makes it easier to instill exactly what you want because they genuinely care about each other. They have a relationship way before even Calvary.
Yeah. How have you enjoyed him being a head coach? You had Stroud last year, he's head of the program. How have you enjoyed him as your head coach?
I don't know if it's so much of an enjoy, but I mean, like you said, hard coaching, but you just got to take it, roll with the punches, and just be ready for anything.
One thing that's unique about the center position, it's important, being that leader on the line of knowing where everyone else is going to go. How have you taken that pressure of being the starting center, now a senior leader on this team, and just understanding what everyone else is doing to help yourself and the team?
I mean, it goes back to playing every position, just be ready for anything. And like Mikey, I'll say Mikey. He's a good player, but I mean, I wouldn't say he doesn't know everything, but he could use a little bit of help very few times. And, just being there for him, just being the best leader you can be.
And it goes back to that teamwork and that brotherhood.
Yes, sir.
Getting onto the field now, you guys are 4-1. That loss to Jenkins in the bye week, what were the conversations like among the leadership of the team and the seniors in knowing that you want to use that bye week as a positive and take that loss as a positive to the second half of the season? How have you guys reacted as players?
I mean, I think like Coach Cam said, the bye week was great. It was great for us. And as leaders, we knew we needed to come to practice harder than we have all year, and like just never feel a loss again, never lose again until, the end.
Hopefully there's a trophy at
Yes,
the end
sir.
of that road, right? Well, Carson, we appreciate you coming on the Coaches Show. You can see Carson and the Cavaliers this Friday. It's a 7:30 kick against Long County at home. But the Coaches Show for the day is not wrapped up. After the break, head volleyball coach Kelly Griffin, she joins us next from Trailer Park.
50% off pizza after Calvary home games.
Hey, thank you. I told him, I said, hey, if you could tell your teammates after the games on Friday for Calvary families, 50% off pizzas here at Trailer Park. We might have to have you on to read the ad
Yes,
every
sir.
single week. All right. Thanks, Carson. The
Thank
Coaches
you.
Show. We'll be right back.
Bluffton Fence and Gutter is a proud partner of Calvary Day Athletics.
Welcome back to the Calvary Coaches Show live from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street. Our next guest, head coach of Calvary Volleyball, Kelly Griffin. Coach Griffin, appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Yeah, of course. I'm happy to be here.
Year one as head coach of the volleyball program at Calvary. There's a lot of exciting things upcoming for this team with the postseason, but we'll just start there. Year one, how much have you enjoyed it? What's it been like?
It's been a lot of fun. I will say transitioning from assistant the past 2 years to now head has been an interesting transition. You definitely have to wear a couple more hats than being an assistant and just kind of showing up to coach. Now you kind of have to have a hand in a lot of things. So that was an adjustment period, but learning and growing. So it's been great.
The logistics side changes, but you still, at the end of the day, get to work on the skills and develop your young ladies. How have your relationship with them changed, stayed the same, been different? What's that dynamic?
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, thankfully I didn't have to come in off the cuff, just not knowing any of the girls. I had 2 years to kind of get to know them first, then to get to know me. But did have to kind of learn a little bit of a new role. So kind of, even though assistant, they still had to respect me and like get to know me. It is a different role being a head coach. So kind of training that up a little bit at the beginning was interesting. But I think now we're in a good groove where the girls kind of see me as a little bit more on the varsity side versus just the assistant or JV.
And you kind of have to have a decent background in the sport to truthfully understand how it's played. What is your background? Georgia, born and raised, but where were your stops in sports that have led you to Calvary?
Yeah, I feel like sports has been a part of my life for however long I can remember. Even just if it wasn't my sports, it was my 7 siblings sports events that I was going to. But I kind of fell in love with volleyball. I saw my oldest sister play, and she kind of showed me the sport, and then ever since then it's just always been a part of my life. I got to play in high school, and then in college I got to coach at a local high school in Athens, which won't say the name of because when I first came to Calvary I learned that we're not friends in that school, but it taught me a lot of things too, just getting to be under coaching staff there. And then I got to play club at Georgia, which was really fun, and just grown in the sport, knowing it as a player first, but now getting to have a whole strategic side of learning the game, and it changes still constantly. So definitely have a different perspective on it than I did in high school, but always been around it and been passionate about it.
You still have that love for the game because just yesterday you're doing drills with your teams where it doesn't seem like you're taking much off of a spike over the net. You get to kind of filter in when play with the girls. What is that side of it to keep that love of the game?
Yes. So at first it was a little daunting, like either serving on them or something, because you do open yourself up to some criticism of like Coach Kelly missed a serve or something like that. But it's been fun because there's things that I can show them or like break down by like being with them on the court and just kind of displaying it. And I'm definitely not perfect, but I think it helps me relate to them a little bit more when I put myself back in serve receive or serving. Like I can then speak into like, yeah, it is difficult and this is what's going through my head when I go through it, so I can relate to them a little bit more. Even when I like sometimes if we have a girl out with an injury or we're trying to run a play and we don't have enough girls, if I am a setter or something, like remembering, oh, like this was something I struggled with on the court. So I enjoy that part of it. Hopefully I won't get an injury on the job or anything. But yeah, it's been fun. And I think as we're progressing this season, we're at a point where I can go a little bit harder on them and they actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
So.
You have a lot of talent on this roster too. So when you do match up, I'm sure it's not as lopsided, but you know, this was a region championship winning program. When you were an assistant, when you take over head coaching role, there are things you're going to bring in and change. What are some things, it could be from a volleyball sense, it could be an off the court sense, that you wanted to instill in the program as head coach?
Yeah, I would say just coming off of when I first started at Calvary, me and Brooke both noticed that there was 4 years where they had 4 different coaches. And so there's a lack of just consistency within the program. And so wanting that to be what we wanted the past 2 years and now this year too, it's just building up that consistency, knowing what the girls, or having the girls know what to expect when they come on the court. And that comes with time. And I think everyone's told me like, hey, your first year is always the hardest. But being able to have those 2 other years has made this year a little bit better. But yeah, I think my biggest thing is consistency, that they come in, they know what to expect. We do a ball control series at the first 15 minutes of every practice and they hate it. But it just shows them, hey, you come in, you do the small things, and then that can create like the platform to do the bigger things, the more fun things.
It's a team that has a lot of energy. You can hear it when you're just walking through the athletic swing. Why does their energy and the relationship they have together that make it fun translate to wins?
I would say what I love about this team is that they can be undersized a ton. And so we have this energy about us, like this, they just will fight every point. And so even though if we walk on the court and the other team is more athletic or taller, our team has this sense of like joy playing the sport where they don't really, I mean, every once in a while someone might hit 10 foot and they'll be like, okay, great job, next ball. But they're going to fight hard even if we're down a couple points or something like that. So I think their positivity shows that they are up for a challenge and they're not just going to roll over.
Well, it led to a perfect region schedule, and you guys are rewarded. You get to host the region tournament tomorrow and Saturday in Tippett Gymnasium. to be able to say that you do have an opportunity to hoist a trophy on your home floor, that's always special. What is the message to your team going into this weekend?
I think I just want to finish the way we started. It can be easy to get distracted right now just with like homecoming around the corner and new sports and club volleyball and things catching your attention. But we started up in June. Actually, May was our tryouts. And so I'm just like, hey, we started strong and let's finish strong. And it's really fun to have a home game because we only had 4 this season. So being able to have another opportunity to play with our community is always really fun.
Does the vibe change at all at being postseason now? Do the conversations change at all? Or is it we know what we've done this season and it tries to stay the same?
I feel like the other day we had a conversation at practice where I was like, hey, remember we said we want to be region champs. And even though our schedule shows that like we hopefully come up on top, but that goal is still ahead of us. And so we got to stay focused. So I think I preached it a little bit more of like, hey, seniors, this could be your last couple practices and this could be your last couple games. Like, don't take it lightly. Let's be even more intentional than we were before.
Yeah, well, it's going to be an exciting weekend. The first 25 students, both Thursday and Saturday, they get into the game for free. So hopefully there's some big support from the student body for the purple and gold, but also it should be a packed gym. In the games, last one, in the games you have had, there has been a lot of energy from Calvary community and the faithful. What can you say about those home games? Does it add a little juice?
It does. It's really fun. I know that we just don't play our rivals as much, and I feel like those rival games are where we saw the most school spirit, but it's still an opportunity to kind of rally behind your Calvary family, and volleyball games become so much more fun when you have people in there that are like either giving the other team a hard time or getting excited. So I think it's a great sport to watch, and it's indoors, so it's air conditioned, and there's no rain, and it's great.
When it's humid this weekend.
Yes.
But
yeah.
all right. The Cavaliers' first serve for the quarterfinals of the tournament is 5 p.m. tomorrow. That opponent is to be determined. See you there at the Tippett Gymnasium. But Coach Kelly, we appreciate the time and good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
When we come back, we wrap up the Calvary Coaches Show with a look at the 3-3A region standings. Welcome back to the Calvary Coaches Show from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street. For the head coach of the Cavaliers, Jason Cameron, I am Jeffrey Roberts. For the Cavaliers, 5 games down, 5 to go. We have some region standings now. You're starting to see how things will shake up come the end of the year. Jenkins, they have that top spot after beating the Cavaliers 2 Fridays ago. But Liberty County, they have played 6 games, the only one in the region to have 6 games under the belt except for Southeast Bullock. But they are in standalone second. Just look at this, Coach. I mean, you pay attention. We pay attention to a lot of these games. That top half of the region is an absolute grind right now.
Yeah, it's wide open. I said it multiple weeks. It's a wide open region. You know, you have Long County Liberty beat, Southeast Bullock this week, which, not an upset, but something that, you were a little bit surprised to see. And it's a wide open region. Look at the overall records. A lot of teams with one loss, and then, a lot of teams with just 1 loss in the region. So it's a wide open region. Every single night you got to come out and play football.
And for Calvary Day, you wanting to use the loss as inspiration, what will these next 5 games look like? You see a lot of the teams that are in these standings right now. Every game you're going to still look at like this is a region championship because you need to get better and play clean football.
Absolutely. Games 1 through 10 prepare you, God willing, for 11 through 15. We said that multiple times, and every single week we take it as an opportunity to get better. We get to do this. We don't have to. So we want to continue to progress, and we want to be playing our best football when it matters. So our goal is every single week go 1-0, and I told our guys I want to see us put together all 3 facets of the game: play great defense, play great offense, play great special teams, and continue that from this point forward.
So the winner of this Friday's game between the Cavaliers and Blue Tide will take over 3rd place in 3A Region 3. Coach, just some final thoughts before Long County. You say that through 5 games there hasn't been a full 4 quarters of clean football. That's something this Friday you want to need to see.
Yeah, most coaches are probably going to say that same thing. We're real nitpicky, and we want perfection. That's what our expectations. We hold our guys to an extremely high standard, and we know what they're capable of. And like I said, I want to see a perfect game. I want to see a game where you look back and watch that film, and you're like, man, this was good. And there'll be mistakes in there, but at the end of the day, one thing that you can't take away from our guys is that they play hard. And that's something that needs to be the standard, and you live up to or exceed the standard every single day. But, schematically and just execution-wise, I just want to see us execute at a high level.
Yeah, well, it's a big Friday between the Cavaliers and Blue Tide. A new pregame tradition, the Cav Walk. There have been 2 of them so far, and it only got bigger from the
definitely.
first to second one. That Cav Walk, can you kind of speak on what that does for the team?
Yeah, it's awesome. We just kind of come through that first parking lot, and it kind of signifies the game's about to get started. And walking through our fans and seeing how much our community supports our guys, supports our coaches, it just gives you that little extra, man. You get that the little goosebumps on, and you're ready to play football at that point.
We'll get out Friday a little bit earlier than usual. 6:40 is the Cav Walk through the athletics parking lot. And then as Carson has said and we've said throughout the season, after the game, head here to Trailer Park Pizza Party. All Calvary families get 50% off cheese and pepperoni pizzas. Coach Cameron, you were here after the Windsor Forest game. The atmosphere is one that the kids could come see.
Oh, it's great. I would love to have something like this when I was in high school, like just a meetup spot after the game. Listen, I'm a pizza snob too now, and it was great pizza. My son enjoyed it. My mom, Brooke. So it was a great atmosphere. So I think they're giving us a great deal with the 50% off, and I would love to. Trailer Park has been so good to us. It's I hope we're good to them in return, and we pack this place on Friday, hopefully after a W.
All right, up next, it's a 7:30 kick, Calvary Day and Long County from the Specialty Sports Complex. Both teams are 4-1, and the winner will take over standalone 3rd place in 3-3A. For the head football coach of the Cavaliers, Jason Cameron, I am Jeffrey Roberts. We'll talk to you live from Trailer Park Pizza Party next week.